You guys, Chauvin's first name is Derek, correct?
Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you. Going down, down. It's going down, down. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Here we go, girlfriends. It's the Force of Friendship with Sabrina, Caterina, Gloria, and Crisette. Gloria all the way in South America. This is We Got Issues at 9 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF. Thank you, Tribe, for joining us. We see you coming from the East Coast, the West Coast, points in between. Type your name in the chat. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell us where you're viewing from. I see there's Sharon Timmons. Hello, hello, hello. I see you, I see you, I see you. There's Pat Magruder. There's Drea. Carolyn Muse, our #1 fan from Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Millicent. Oh, my goodness. It's a great day. It's a great day. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. There's a guilty verdict, you guys. A guilty verdict on all 3 counts. All I can say is thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hello from Arkansas, Crystal, Minnesota. Here we go, you guys. Honestly, it's been a lot on my mind, like it's been a lot on everybody's mind. And I'm so glad that we are here to talk about We Got Issues. Our topic was going to be anyway, USA, we got issues. And so we still have issues. We have a guilty verdict, and that's a great starting point. Caterina, Gloria, Crisette. Gloria, I'll go to you. You're my co-host. I don't know if you're plugged in, but no, she's not ready. Okay, Crisette, we'll go to you in the D. How you feeling today?
Hey, Sabrina, all my girlfriends. I am feeling absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. I wanted to start off with it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but I don't want all of our callers to hang up and like, oh my God, please don't sing. But when I tell you, I am looking out my window and it is snowing like the first snow that we get in December. Unbelievable that it's this late in April and it's snowing and it's white outside. And so it is Michigan. Stick around, you'll get all 4 seasons. But when I tell you, I had the TV off, and really, to be honest, I thought they were going to be a while before they, came back with a verdict. And when we got a text, the verdict is in, you should see me trying to find remotes to turn the television on. And I'm telling you, I know every Black and brown person around the country and around the world our hearts were beating hard, and we were sweating and palpitating because we were just saying, Lord, this time let it be the right verdict. Please let it be the right verdict. And so they came back with guilty, not just on one, but all three charges. And so I'm telling you, it's a beautiful day here in the D, snow and all. Just glad that the jury saw what we saw with our own eyes. So I'm so excited about this topic today because we all have just, really felt some kind of way with all of this going on. So I'm glad to be here with our 9:10 a.m. family. And of course, I am so excited to be with my Force of Friendship girlfriend. So I'm going to throw it over to Caterina Harris Earl.
Oh boy, all I can say is I can breathe.
Muted, Cat. We can't hear you, baby.
All I can say is I can breathe. That's all I can say is I can breathe. We were holding our breath, literally. I'm excited to have this conversation with you guys today. Sabrina, journalism is your background. I had called it and said it was coming on Tuesday. You said maybe later in the week, but I'm telling you, God was all up in it because we need this conversation today. So no accident, looking at the TV and they're holding their hands high. I know that, it's a victory, y'all, but it's a murder. It's still a murder.
Yeah,
right.
So absolutely.
It's a murder, and it's a families whose lives are changed forever. So it's still a moment to be incredibly sad.
For sure.
Gloria,
for sure.
MIA, but she'll be back.
She got issues, y'all. This chick has more issues over South America than we can count. But she's trying to hang with us. We're grateful that she didn't say I'm out. I hear background. Where's that background coming from? Anybody know? Okay, that's it.
Me. Get excited because
Caterina. Okay, Caterina, you about to get fired. Okay, you about to get fired. Okay,
fire me. I'm trying to get fired.
Oh my. I want our callers. I know you have a lot to say. 313-778-7600. I need our callers to call in.
Issues here from Colombia, but I'm here with you guys because this is a day that we had to get on today. This is a conversation. I'm so glad to be in this conversation. I have been getting all the news from my girlfriends. I can't get Wi-Fi. I can't get CNN. I can't get a phone call. I can't get anything. But today I was like, I have got to find a way. Got to find a way to be on this show. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Sabrina, because we have a lot to talk about. But I will tell you, you guys, this is such a big deal. I will tell you, my story is I remember being in the riots in Detroit. I remember those times. So I'm very excited that we're seeing some justice for the people that are looking behind us going forward. It hasn't fixed everything, but this was huge because if it had gone in the wrong direction, it would have been a very painful place to be. So here I am, and I'm here with you guys because we are the force of issues, and we're talking about all the issues.
The force of issues. Is that what you said? The force of issues?
That's us. That's us.
The first of with issues. But
Chris,
you're amazing, Gloria.
Don't laugh, Chris. Don't laugh.
You're being amazing. You're being amazing. You guys, one of our white sisters said, you know what? I know you said Black and brown people are excited and happy for this verdict, but many of us white chicks who are so glad for the verdicts too. All God's people say amen. Amen to that. Fair-minded people. I was thinking about this song this morning. Jesus loves the little children, all little children of the world. We used to sing that when we were little kids. Black, brown, and white. We're all beautiful in his sight. And so with that being said, you guys, fair-minded people, there's no way that we needed this victory. We needed this verdict more than anything. It gives us hope in a hopeless situation. You're right, Caterina. We still have a man dead, senselessly murdered. we cry out for the family. And we know that this verdict doesn't end the pain for the George
Right.
Floyd family, but we're praying it begins healing for the family. You know, his family has been just amazing throughout this process. They've stood strong, they've stood tall, they've come out, they've asked for peaceful protest, they ask for justice to be given in honor of their family member. And even today, when they were asking, how are you feeling? Asking the family, I heard from an aunt, I heard from a cousin, I heard from his brother. And they all said, we're prayerful, we're faithful, we're hopeful, we're asking for a peaceful protest. And we are just believing that the verdict, that the jury will do the right thing. And so callers, we want to hear from you, 313-778-7600. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? On count one, second degree unintentional, count one, second degree unintentional murder, guilty. Count two, third degree murder, guilty. Count three, second degree manslaughter, guilty. You know, unanimously guilty across the board. Girlfriends, who wants to share? You've kind of shared. Do you want to expound? I just am grateful for this verdict on so many levels. If it came back any different, it was going to be another slap in the face saying, even when you see it, we don't care. Black lives don't matter. We could do whatever we want to do to you in the broad daylight. So I'm just grateful that justice is being served. I understand that it could be on one count, it could be maximum 40 years in prison. On another count, it could be 25 years maximum. On another count, it could be 10 years maximum. It did not make me happy. I mean, I don't rejoice in seeing a man handcuffed and being carted away to jail. Right. I feel for his family, but wrong is wrong and right is right. So, girlfriends, anybody want to share before we go to the phone lines?
You know, this is Gloria, and I want to.
Gloria, no audio, Gloria.
What you're saying.
I can't hear you, Gloria.
Sabrina.
I want to reiterate
Sabrina,
what you said before, which is a man is dead, a man is gone. It definitely is a man is gone. And we will never lose sight of that. But I also want to say that what we can't lose sight of is the hope. Because when there's hope, that keeps people understanding that the fight is still important. And it's hope that there's going to be a chance at a new tomorrow. And that the people that have been talking about this and marching for this and asking for our support, this is a way that, you know, it as easily as it went to the left, could have gone to the right. I mean, it's just there. So I'm one to want to bring to light that, you know, as we are clear about this decision, we have to be vigilant about so many things that are still going on. I mean, it would not surprise me if something happened tomorrow, something happened yesterday. It is just a big voice, though, a big voice that it's just not going to be scot-free. And that's important to me.
Yep. Let's go to the phone lines, you guys. Caller. Callers, please call in. One. Hi. Go ahead, Carla.
Awesome work you're doing. So I thank God that justice prevailed. Finally, accountability is here. We need to ride this momentum to continue justice. Can you believe that the Rodney King trial, matter, I should say, happened March 3rd of 1991, you guys, 30 years ago. And how many things have happened in between where there hasn't really been real justice? I watch in disbelief at some of the things I see, but there's been progress. There have been cameras. Thank God for people carrying cameras. We should tell everybody, if they're put over by police, have your phone on and let that camera roll. It is lawful to do that. And so this is what's making the change. We've got cameras in the police cars, body cams. So we're trying, and through prayer and diligence and with folks like you guys, we can and we will see a difference. Not just talk about it. We're going to begin to see even more wins. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for calling in too. We got issues with the force of friendship.
Right, Carla. 30 years.
Carla.
My goodness. It doesn't seem that long ago. But just think about how many cases have happened, how many verdicts have come back not in the right way. And so every protest, every letter that you write, every phone call that you make, every check that you write, everything that we do can make a difference. We cannot get tired. We cannot become discouraged. We have to keep fighting for what's right. Thank you, Carla. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. Girlfriends, who do we go to next?
Sabrina, I was going to mention, I'm so glad a couple of things Carla said. She said that 30 years and the Rodney King case, and we were so disappointed with the verdict. But she also talked about the importance of those individuals, the bystanders that got involved, that didn't just walk away, that didn't become desensitized and say, it's not my business, so let me keep going. Can you imagine if the young lady, I think she was 17 at the time, had not taken the time? And I'm just thankful that her cell phone was on full, that it wasn't, it didn't get a few minutes and then it died. I mean, she stood there the entire time and got that testimony, got all of that footage. And it was impossible for anybody that has a heart to watch that video. And to me, okay, I wasn't the jury, but to me, I mean, how could you have come back with any other verdict other than he was guilty on all counts? So I am so grateful to all of the bystanders that on that day, they will live in infamy as individuals who cared enough to get involved, who cared enough to say, stop, he's not breathing, who cared enough to say this isn't right. I mean, it just makes your heart feel good to know that there is some humanity, and there were individuals on that day that had George Floyd's back, but unfortunately they were not able to do more. So that just lets us know when we see something happening, we have to stop, and if at all possible, do our part, because had they not done that, I don't believe that we would have gotten the verdicts that we got today.
Sabrina, I've been guilty. I've been guilty of being one who didn't have time for jury duty, didn't want to be bothered with jury duty. Jury duty was going to affect my income as a self-employed person. How do I get out of jury duty? Oh, I got jury duty. But man, I mean, even as you were listening to the voices of the jurors, you could hear just the tone of a Black man's voice, the tone of a white woman's voice. It appeared and it sounded. And so just literally the tears began to flow. Thank God for just jurors. Thank God for a system where people were not paid off or just impacted to sway for a political opinion. And y'all, just thank God for lawyers, skilled lawyers. They brought a just case. Really, Chris, which was because of all of the bystanders that just couldn't be denied. I mean, that exact same case, pre-cell phones, not guilty. Because we've seen it with cell phones, not guilty. But boy, we just have to continue to raise up amazing and powerful people that will work on every side. And the biggest thing that impacted me was this morning seeing George Floyd's brother and Emmett Till's cousin sitting together side by side and talking. It was like, I was so impacted. It just was breathtaking. Took my breath away, literally. So where do we go from here? We continue to fight, right? We continue to fight. And we continue to cry because it's just emotional. It is. It really is.
Yeah, and that was going to be the topic before the verdict came in today, preparing our soul for turmoil. I can't hardly say it. Preparing our soul for turmoil. Police, the civil unrest, the mass shootings, the police violence. It just seems like there's a lot going on in our world right now. And more than ever, we have to continue to be productive citizens. We have to, our brand is love, light, lessons, and laughter. But quite honestly, sometimes it's hard to see the light when there's so much darkness around us. And so, girlfriends, I just give my hats off to you, because you clearly are the wind beneath my wings. When I gotta shout, when I gotta cry, when I just want to express my emotions, you are some of the first people that I call, besides immediate family members, to say, I gotta share this. I gotta get this off my chest. And so I think we just have to continue to keep the phone lines open, continue to tell our story, to continue to make a difference in our community. You're right. I do believe that those jurors who were chosen for such a time like this, you guys,
Right.
It could have gone any way. Even though we all saw it, it could have gone a different way. And that's why I was so uneasy about what the verdict was going to be, because there's been always, in so many cases, clear evidence, and it came back something different. So you are tuning in to 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF. Call us. Let's talk about it. 313-778-7600. We are positive, powerful, purposeful, not Pollyannish. We are going to talk about it all. Oh, we'll be right back. Call us, 313-778-7600. We got to take a break.
All right. So we're on a commercial break. Y'all should be able to hear me now. Good.
I'm good.
I mean,
Thank
just
you
all
so
shook
much.
up. I've
You all
been
right?
shook up and not quite right for a couple weeks now. This case just really
I appreciated
rocks
those
my
hand
world.
claps for the
Rocking
verdict
my
at the
world.
beginning of the show.
And,
Thank you.
Like OMG, OMG, OMG. It's been
Yes, sir. Yes,
such
sir.
a challenging
Okay.
time. And so, y'all, after the initial shock, what is your next step? What can we do individually? I'll tell you one thing I did is, I'm a TikTok fan. I learned so much history on TikTok, and some of the best what's happening right now. And yesterday I was watching this woman. I have to find her. She was talking about the voting rights, and the big article that appeared in the Washington Post. And there were 3 companies that didn't sign on. One was Walmart, one was Chase, and I have to tell you who the other one was. And she, in her TikTok, right in her link in bio, created a easy way where all I had to do was click, 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 and it sent a message.
Okay, we'll go right to
one
them.
of those companies.
Okay. Thank you.
About how much we disagree with them not taking a stand.
Okay.
And I don't know if you caught that. Did you guys see that? There was a huge issue. I'm trying to find the name of the companies. One was Walmart, JP Morgan Chase, and Home Depot.
Can we take Tracy first?
So it was just really, because truly, who's in office, the attorney general, the mayor, the prosecutor, all of those positions, it makes a difference. Thanks, Sheila. It was Home Depot. And so I'm going to post that in the chat, because you can immediately click and send those messages, because we have got to protect voting rights, and because it directly affects our justice system as well. We're coming back from a break. Here we go.
We're back. This is Sabrina Goodwin Monday from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I'm your host today. And we have a verdict. Breaking news. Ex-police officer Derek Chauvin, he is guilty on all 3 counts. I'm here with my girlfriends, Gloria Mayfield Banks, all the way from South America, And we have Caterina Harris Earl from, she's in California. Okay, I'm like, where is Caterina today? And then we have Crisette Ellis from Detroit, Michigan. We are the force of friendship, and we talk about it all. And so today, we just are full of hope. We know that it's not the end point, but it is a beginning point for us to really dig in for police reform, and to grateful that $27 million settlement, that does not bring our brother back, but we know that there has been justice, and the family has been paid $27 million. I believe it's the highest settlement of any police case in the U.S. history. So let's go to the phone lines. Tracy, are you there? We can. Thank you for calling 910 AM
Superstation. That's awesome. You made it so awesome. Really quickly, I just wanted to say this. Three things that really hit me about this verdict today was, one, the obvious, justice was served. And it just filled my heart to know that punishment will be done for what was done to Mr. Floyd. It was just a terrible thing, and both families are suffering, but justice needs to be done. And then it just took me back to the time when I was younger, coming up. I mean, crime was everywhere, but I never really noticed, or it just never mattered, I guess, as much until I became an adult, until there was Sandra Bland, until there was Trayvon Martin. And I started noticing, and I'm thinking, oh my God, look at what's happening to our young people. And the second thing, that verdict gives us hope that justice can be done, that it is possible, that the right things can happen when you're doing the wrong thing, okay? And so now I bring it back to say, it's come to teach our young people not to give up, even in times where it looks like we're not going to win, we're not going to make it. Like that man Charles Stokes said, you're not going to win, man, you're not going to win. Never give up hope, because it's times like today, it's times like this verdict that lets us know that fair-minded people who can see and see the common sense of it all, and never give up, never stop the fight, can bring it all full circle, and justice can be done. It is possible, and this verdict says hope is still alive. Never give up, because it is possible. Thank you, Truth.
That we serve a God of just. And so we have to continue to believe that, and never give up. Tracy, you were so encouraging with your thoughts, your calls. Thank you for being part of our tribe. We appreciate your call. Keep on keeping on. You can find us here every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. We're going to the phone lines, you guys. We want to hear from you. Your voice matters. 313-778-7600. Mr. John, hello. How are you? Are you there?
And knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. And I want to say one thing just like this. The neighborhood, we got to focus on our neighborhood too now, ladies. You got to don't let the neighborhood go. I mean, celebrate this for right now, but let it still. It ain't over. So we got a lot of things to do yet. And you got these racist Republicans all been trying to sign bills to keep people from voting. So the neighborhood comes next time. We got to focus on the neighborhood, ladies. And celebrate the day, but let the neighborhood always hear loud and clear that we're not going to put up with nothing like that in the neighborhoods and so forth. What's going on? And you ladies, keep up the good work and keep strong and keep faith coming. Thank you.
We thank you for that positive energy. We know that you've been out there on the front lines for these neighborhoods for many years, and it's community members like you who make such a difference in our towns, our cities, our states. So thank you for calling, Mr. John. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, you guys, you know, we're grateful for a president who had the wherewithal to call the Floyd family yesterday and express his concerns. I was grateful that the leadership of our country cared enough. We didn't know what the verdict was going to be, but what a difference that must have made to the family. Any thoughts on the president's call, girlfriends?
You know what? I'm so glad that we have a president that can sympathize and show empathy when people are going through life challenges. I think that because of, you know, the heartaches that he's had in losing his son Bo to cancer and his wife and daughter that were killed in the car accident, you know, he just is very empathetic. And that just makes him great when you can sympathize with other people. And, you know, I appreciate that while he's the president, and he had to be very careful and cautious because, you know, there's a lot of controversy out there now about, you know, what Maxine Waters said. And, you know, the judge was a little upset with the comments that she made. I appreciate President Biden for still reaching out because he did it once the jury was sequestered, so he didn't want to come off as if you know, he was trying to influence them. So, you know, he's a very smart man, and I just appreciate having a president that, you know, can know when people are hurting and know what to do and doesn't have to be told what to do. His humanity told him he needed to reach out to that family.
For sure, for sure.
And you know, it's not,
You know,
you know, people will always say that's political, so forth. He has personally walked through losing a child. So, I mean, you could talk about the politics of that as much as you want to, but only someone who has walked through that can even begin to relate. And even then, it's a different experience for each person and in this situation. So the impact. Thank you, President Biden.
You know what? I mean, Caterina, when you say he lost a child, he's lost 2 children, and he really can relate to that. And the other thing that becomes so amazing with his phone call, Sabrina, is his leadership amongst leadership in every direction. He talked about how the government would lead in that call. He talked about how a father would lead in that call. He would talk about how a grandparent leads in that call. He would talk about how the, you know, police will lead in that call, because he, as the president, represents everywhere, and he's talking about the signs of everything. And so I think it gave an example of how we have thirst for the type of leadership, for someone who has empathy and strength at the same time. And that's what I saw when I heard about his call.
Yeah, for sure. You know, these last months, you guys, it's been a year. And we go back to when this happened last summer, and what a summer it was with the protest in the middle of a pandemic. And I was researching for this show, and this woman stated, as a Black woman in America, I never felt more uneasy than I do right now. Within months of each other, several Black people have been killed by either police officers or everyday citizens during racially motivated encounters. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd are just a few of their names, which I'll continue to say and advocate for until justice is served. But my mental health has definitely taken a hit. I spend my nights restless, tossing and turning, barely able to sleep. I spend my mornings anxious, tense, and constantly checking my phone with an ear tuned into the television because I'm worried about another Black person being killed. I know these feelings are unhealthy. I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm not exactly surprising that watching countless race-fueled unjust murders is bad for your mental health. The murders of Black people at the hands of police and the constant cycling of imagery that shows these deaths over and over again amplifies my anxiety and distress. I then go on to read, research on 40,000 Black Americans found that police killings of Black people were associated with worse mental health issues, stress, depression, and difficulty dealing with emotions in the months following police brutality among those surveyed. The study also suggests that police killings could add 55 million more poor mental health days every year among Black Americans. And so, as it's playing out of, it affects our mental health. We all know that, right? We know that we have to watch our mental health. We have to watch our health, period. So on days that are heavy, we got to go get some vitamin D. We have to go out and take a walk. We must connect to nature. We want to be part of the problem, we want to be part of the solution, not be in the problem forever. So what do you guys say about being part of the solution? What do you do? How do you do it?
I talked on the break about how much this ties into voting rights. I talked on the break about that, and making conscious economic decisions is going to be so important. Paying attention to policing in your community, understanding it more, being up close to what that looks like and those changes, because this definitely has politics definitely has an impact on this verdict today. Who is in place? The decision makers have to be and understand the impact and what Black America has experienced. Sabrina, as I think about folks that just don't get it, I really feel sad. But when people don't understand, this is not just a man. This is our community. We look at him and we see all the Black men that in our own families, in our own communities. We don't have to go far to every one of us is a few degrees of separation from someone who has dealt with an unjust system in our community. And so people don't understand, why is this a whole Black thing? We talk about there's Black music, there's Black church, there's Black food, there's Black hair. Well, this is a Black experience that impacts every one of us. And so I just say, if there's anybody who is peeping in and listening and you don't understand, take time to understand from your friend. This is about George Floyd's family, but it's so much bigger. This is about making right the wrongs in America and the world that are hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Absolutely.
And God ain't pleased.
Let's go to Enza.
Make it right.
Yeah. God ain't pleased. God is not pleased. Let's go to the phone lines. Enza, thank you so much for calling the Force of Friendship. We got issues on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. How are you?
I'm great. I am so excited. And thank you so much for your platform. I want to make several comments. One of my comments is, as the man stated, this is just the beginning. Now we have to really watch our backs in the name of Jesus. And God is a God of justice. This day truly is going to come. And thirdly, Auntie Maxie, she, however, made statements. Everybody else can make a statement.
Right.
So we can't make a statement and they're making a big deal out of it. It's not a big deal. She was just speaking from her heart. And I believe it was the right thing. And thanks so much. This is just the beginning.
Yes, and thank you for calling in, and thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your
You are a difference maker, for sure, for sure. Again, call into 313-778-7600. We want to hear your thoughts on the verdict today. All right, girlfriends. Yes, go ahead, Gloria.
You know, Carla is hitting us up on Facebook, and she says, "I'm glad you mentioned it's the world, because the same nonsense is going on in the UK." She also says this verdict is loud and a clear message to the police department that now is the time to make the change. Hitting them in the pocketbook is a substantial way to break this chain of injustice. So what she's saying to me is that it's a loud statement that we have to keep saying over and over and over again, and that it's going directly to the police department, directly to the people who have covered this up so many times, directly making them looking over their arm, because obviously they have felt that they could get away with anything and everything. And so what we are getting from this is so many messages that we have to continue to work to lift up so that it doesn't get lost and it doesn't get run over, that it doesn't hit with the news cycle. You know how the news cycle is here today and gone tomorrow. We have to stay vigilant that this is loud and that they will always look at the cases, because if they believe they will get away with it, it will get taken care of over and over and over again. And we have to also be careful that it's one thing in the big cities, it's another thing in the small towns and in the South, and where the things are happening that we don't get to hear about. You know, Sabrina, one of the things that you talked about was how the journalist will carry the story and what responsibility we have with people who carry the news, that they don't flip the switch onto a new subject too quickly, that we stay here in this. And so we have a responsibility to not just cause our political people to keep it alive, but the people who carry on the communication, continue to encourage them to keep this upfront so it stays in the conversation.
Very good, Gloria. Very good. Very good. Did another girlfriend want to jump in? Katrina, did you look pensive? Or
Sabrina, I was just thinking I was just thinking about just a couple of last Sunday and a couple of Sundays ago, they did a documentary on Beulah Mae Donald and how her son, and this was in 1981. And I'm going to be honest with you, there are so many stories that we don't even know. I had never heard about Beulah Mae Donald and her son, 17 years old, I believe, that was just walking to the store, and, the Ku Klux Klan, they wanted to kill a Black person, and he just happened to be the one, and they lynched him. And, just watching her, a Black mother, having to go through that. I'm saying that because after the verdict came and the guy, one of the individuals that was a part of it, he literally got the electric chair. And they were really, really amazed that in the South, and this happened in Mobile, Alabama, that, a white man actually got convicted. But she went a step further and she sued the Ku Klux Klan. And she actually won a $7 million verdict, but of course they didn't have that kind of money, but they had to sell some land and that kind of thing. And I said that to say, even then, the strength of these Black mothers, the strength of them to say, you killed my son, you killed my daughter, but I'm going to speak up, I'm going to speak out, and I'm not going to just let it happen and then I say nothing. And so I think it is so important that we keep the conversation going, that we talk to our children, that these stories shouldn't be a story 10 years from now and they say, well, we didn't know anything about it. No, we have to continue to tell the story. I mean, one of the things that you guys have to admit with the Holocaust, their children's children know about what happened during the Holocaust. And sometimes in our families, we don't share. So I think this is a conversation. If you have an opportunity to talk to young people, even your children on a certain level, is dependent on their age group, but they need to understand where we are in America, and they need to understand some of the things that they can do, making sure that they get registered to vote, making sure that they understand that it is in the legislature, it is in the people that we elect, that it comes full circle to people that end up, becoming judges and those that are in Congress. And, even in the White House. So everything is full circle. So we have to get involved at every single level.
Yeah. It's just one of the best books I ever read was Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. I tell you what, you guys, that is just required reading. And if you haven't read it, make your grandkids read it, make your children read it. I just believe that we have to continue to tell the story. Absolutely, we do. And it is our job. It is our responsibility. And today, we're grateful. We're so grateful. But our message from the Force of Friendship is there's so much work to be done. We are not giddy with excitement, and tomorrow will be another day. What this day means to us is that there's hope. There's a chance that our work is not being done in vain, that George Floyd's death was not in vain. That's what this means to us today. And so as we continue to move forward, you guys, I was also the feelings. This is what people are feeling before the verdict. People were on edge. It said you're feeling anger, anxiety, fear, frustration, depression, helplessness, hopelessness, isolation, paranoia, resentment, sadness, self-blame, self-doubt. And it talked about it's okay to feel those feelings. It also talked about that even after the verdict, you're still going to have some of those feelings because so many cases are still not, the verdict is not in. We're still waiting on justice. And so it talked about ineffective coping would be to disengage, to isolate, go to substance abuse. No, you guys, go get some mental health counseling. Talk it out. Do not self-medicate. Also talked about making sure that you're journaling. I mean, I definitely want to get quiet today, journal, to really write down how I'm feeling. When the verdict came in, I mean, I had a big business meeting today. And honestly, I was a bit torn because some of my thought was there and some of my thought was in the meeting. And I just know that it's important to take the time for yourself. Get quiet. Peace, be still. Some of the journaling that I'm going to give you some, because some people are not good at journaling. And I'm going to tell you, writing is some of the best therapy. And Caterina, I don't know if we could put some of these journal starters, but a good way to write today is, today I give myself permission to feel. Today, I give myself permission to feel. And then you fill in the blank. What are you feeling? Be in touch with what you're feeling. Yes. Yeah. Another journal starter is, I will not allow anyone to tell me my feelings or experiences of whatever it is are not real. Because we will have some friends who say, I don't know what the big deal is. I had a girlfriend tell me she turned the TV off in the fall. Well, I know what that meant. After the election, she didn't want to hear it anymore. So she turned the TV off. You guys, you just, you can't just ignore what's going on around us. Another journal starter, I give myself permission to not engage with. I give myself permission to not engage. Fill in the blank. Gloria, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that we need to open up this conversation. I hope we get some callers in at 313-778-7600. And what have you done, or what have we done when we're faced with a girlfriend that we really like, that we've spent a lot of time with, that we enjoy a lot of her family members, and then she comes out with a crazy statement, a real crazy statement that means immediately to your core, she couldn't possibly care about me. She couldn't possibly care about my race. She couldn't possibly care about my struggle. For her to say what she says, we see it in the phone calls. We see it on social media. We see it. What do we do about it when you're faced with that? Who do you confront and who you don't you confront? What is the feeling that you might have when someone says something to you? Because it does hurt you, and it hurts deeply when you think you have a relationship with somebody that you really care about, and then you turn around and they say some of the craziest things that will take you out. So how does other people feel about that?
Better than I felt.
That's a good one.
When George Floyd passed, I mean, this has just been, it's been crazy. But those, Sabrina, we didn't get to type them in the chat. I know that you'll type them in so we can get them, because I'm going to walk through that process myself, because I think now I've just given myself permission. I am not required to educate everybody. I mean, I'm just not required. My neighbor across the street comes from a family that's Holocaust survivors, and when they tell the story, it's not considered that they are playing victim. But when we tell the story, from history books that define us and begin us at slavery, don't tell you the beginning, okay, the whole other part, like way back to Adam and Eve, okay, don't tell you that whole part of the African experience. It comes from a victim standpoint. I started my day today with a funeral of a dear friend who succumbed to cancer. Then I got a phone call from my cousin who was diagnosed with cancer. And then George Floyd. I mean, when I tell you, it's just, you have got to take care of yourself. And so that journaling, that breathing, that not having to spend your time with people, places, and things that don't serve you and is not where God is calling you, folks got to figure it out for themselves. Because if you're on the wrong side of history, you're going to get left behind. It's just, playtime is over. We're not taking it no more, period.
Right.
Yeah. Time out for the timeout. Okay. Well, Chris.
Time out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Do we have anybody? We got somebody on the phone line, you guys. Drea. Just in the nick of time. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm good. In answer to Gloria's question, when somebody that's a good friend to me does me wrong or says something that's off the wall, first I pray about it. But I have let go and cut and said, okay, you obviously do not know me. You obviously are not my friend. So I have to let you go because I can't deal with the negativity. And I just say goodbye. And I have to say goodbye.
Yeah. The gift of goodbye. Bishop P.D. Jakes has a sermon way back in the day, and it was the gift of goodbye. And for some, it's easier than others. So, Drea, thank you. Thank you for reminding us of the gift of goodbye. Thank you. Oh, my goodness, you guys. For some of us, it's easier.
John, others, when you get to a certain stage and age, goodbye, you just shorten that to bye. It ain't even no good anymore. It's just bye with a period of exclamation point at the end. And so we have learned
Let me ask you, Sabrina, let me ask the girlfriends real quick.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a friend and you all have been friends for years, and I mean, you've never really engaged on the level of social issues because, I mean, you just don't, they say don't talk about politics, you don't talk about church, there's a couple of things you don't talk about, okay? Race relations, and maybe you've not. And so now we know during this pandemic and during, the election, there's so much that came out, and many people that had friends
that, were Caucasian friends or whatever, they were starting to, hear or see the way they really felt. Is it hard to end a relationship? It's not a game changer for me, like you said. If you have, Caucasian friends that they're total supporters, Trump supporters, and I'll just say that, or they are totally, they don't see what the big deal is with George Floyd, that he shouldn't have been with 16 arrests. I mean, do you say, well, I can look over that and continue friendship and we just don't talk about that, or is that a game changer?
For me, it's a game changer. And I've answered their questions before and then leave them away. And I don't do it. I don't have to be rude, but I can let them know that, I've had a lot of questions, especially over this year. I've had a lot of questions where, how someone asks you a question, but they're really not asking you a question. They're really trying to do a dig. They're not really wanting to know. That's just their form of communication to you. So I ask them to answer their question. I give them the education, and then I leave them alone. They're no longer that type of friend any longer, because to me, it's almost impossible to act like you don't see it. It's pretty impossible to act like it's not important. And sometimes you're asking me the question because you want to check and see if I'll still be your friend, even though you have those kinds of beliefs. And so to me, I think sometimes they're trying to put you on blast just to see. And then they start telling people how you, I'm like, no, no, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. If when you see what you see and you can close your eyes to it and you know it affects someone, it's not just a racial thing. It's treating people right. It's treating human beings right. And I walk away. I think it's important to walk away. But I do think, you know, if I have the capacity to educate you, I want to say something so you tell somebody else something, even if you're mad at me.
I agree. I totally agree. You've got to. I totally respect a differing of opinion. But when it becomes to become an ignorant opinion, and you don't even try to understand where I come from, then there is no friendship there, because that's disrespect and being inconsiderate. So at that point, when people show you who they are, you best believe them. We all know that, right? And so you have shown me your hand, and I can see clearly. I have to see and I have to believe with my own eyes. Who you show me you are.
We got a comment in Facebook. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We got somebody in Facebook, Cornelia, who I thought was really good. And she said, what about co-workers? Because, you know, friends you can walk away with, but co-workers, you got to see them in the lunchroom. You might be working for them or they might be working for you. And so that really changes the whole combination when you are not at a place where you can just walk away. Or it's happened to me, you're in a meeting. You're like in the meeting and they act like you're not even in the meeting. Like, what do you say? Like, how professional do you need to be when you're being slapped in the face by something that's pretty obvious? You have to say something. And so I just want to tell you guys that when you're faced with that, you got to figure out a way to say something, because if you don't, it will eat at you for weeks. And you'll be mad that you didn't address the situation when you had the possibility. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I am going to tell you it's required. That's my philosophy.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, you know what? As we are bringing our show to a close on this historic day, as you are protecting your soul in turmoil, because you will have conversations with friends, family members, neighbors, and you must protect your space. You must stay healthy. If you're finding yourself very bothered, we want you to connect with a mental health professional. Number one, connect with someone who's been trained to be a great listener, to walk you through, talk you through things that have become difficult. Number two, practice meditation and other mind-body interventions to prevent your nervous system from being on high alert all the time. Number three, engage in joy-based practices like family Zoom meetings. Tonight would be a great time to connect with friends and family members through Zoom. Virtual dance parties. Get with your vaccinated friends, all right? Number four, it says, give yourself permission to engage in resistance and activism. Work at your own capacity. Everybody doesn't want to organize a protest. Some can make phone calls from home. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Don't compare yourself to your sister girl. You do you. You do what makes you happy and what gives you kind comfort. What else does it say? Make time for exercise. Seriously, I am going to definitely get out. Today has been a long day. I got to go out and get some vitamin D and just walk and think and be free. So those are just a few ways, you guys, that we are going to protect our soul in turmoil. It's been an awesome show. Chris, Gloria, Caterina, anybody have last thoughts before we close out?
My thought is that it's not a day to celebrate in a certain way, but it certainly is a day to celebrate in another way. You know, it's hard to celebrate with this day, but you can celebrate it and just knowing that if it had gone another way, our world would be so different at this moment, at this point, had it gone a different way. So I'm so glad it went down the way that it went down.
Grateful.
So we're going to see you guys tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're back. This is the Force of Friendship with We Got Issues at 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We're positive, we're powerful, we're purposeful, not Pollyannish. See you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. We Got Issues. Thank you, my friends. Thank you so much.
What a show. Great show. Thanks,
Okay,
Deb.
you too. Bye-bye.
Deb.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Deb. I wanted to say to Cornelia, make sure you tune in Thursday. We're going to have a guest from the UK. So get your UK friends on. Get your UK friends on. I think it might have been Carla. Carla from the UK. Carla was from the UK. Thanks, Carla. Good job, Sabrina. Amazing.
Yeah, that was a great topic. Timely.
Yeah.
Timely. Very timely.
Yeah.
To the minute.
Yeah. Pivoted and made it work for sure. We knew that verdict was dropping. It came fast, though. I did not think today was the day. I just didn't. Everybody's saying that Caterina thought. Caterina was the one who said, I think Tuesday. And I just couldn't see it. And they were saying that if it comes back fast, it was going to be favorable. So that gave me some hope. That gave me some hope for sure.
Right.
For sure.
And you know what? I was so glad that they were talking about the makeup of the jurors, and that was four blacks, and there were 7 whites, and a couple of individuals that were mixed. And so it just makes you feel good that it was a jury of array of individuals. And it was, nobody can just say, well, you know, it was an all-black jury, so you knew it was going to come back with that. But I was so thankful that everybody on that jury saw the same things. They saw the same. So that made me feel good that they all came to agreement unanimously.
And I just think this sends a big message, you guys, to the police forces out there that, you know what, you'll think twice when you're doing something that's not right. Come on. You will. You got to do. You know, when this guy is carted off to jail for years and years and years, I hope they think that thought before they do something that is not right. So,
and you know what Gloria said. I was just gonna say what Gloria said. We really have to pray for people that are in very rural areas, because when they don't have required body cam, where they don't have a whole bunch of people around, it's gonna be open season. So we just need to pray and be vigilant, and just don't let anybody intimidate you.
And there are a lot of mad people, and we've got to be careful, guys. We didn't talk about this, but we've got to be vigilant. There's a lot of mad people out there right now who hate this verdict, and so they're going to be wanting to cause harm. They're going to cause harm.
That's what somebody said on the Facebook. You know, white supremacists are going to be lurking around in Minneapolis. We have to be very vigilant.
And you guys, I alluded to the documentary on Beulah May. That's why they selected her son, because there was a white cop that was killed, I think, by a black person. And so that was their revenge. And they said they wanted to show black people that they could not kill a white person and get away with it. And that was the only reason why they lynched that young man, because a black person had killed a white police officer. So I'm telling you, that was in 1991. I was in the 11th grade. So that's not 20 years, that's not like 2 years ago.
So, Caterina, can you type in Miseducation of a Negro? Miseducation of a Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Miseducation of the Negro.
You know, that's Adele, my cousin's, that's her cousin.
Really? Ah, wow.
Yeah. He had a stamp and everything.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Amazing Black history, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
you guys, I know we want to just be with each other, right? In times like this, we just wish we were in each other's kitchen. All right.
Exactly.
But so this is the next best thing. But we gotta go. We just holding up Facebook. Our time is up.
Bye-bye, you
Gloria,
guys.
be safe in Columbia. Chris, thank you. Great job, Katrina.
Who's got tomorrow? Who's got tomorrow? Tomorrow's
Gloria has
We'll
tomorrow.
stop the live.
Gloria's
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.